love that never became fate. They met on a day that was not supposed to matter. The sky was dull, the kind of gray that didn't threaten rain but still weighed on the chest. She was late, frustrated, and silently rehearsing apologies she would never say out loud. He was early, pretending not to watch the door every time it opened. If either of them had chosen a different route, paused for coffee, or listened to the quiet voice that told them to stay home, this story would not exist. But fate, when it wants to be cruel, does not announce itself. She dropped her scarf. He picked it up. Their fingers brushed, just briefly, just enough for something to shift. Sorry, they said at the same time, smiling in the polite, meaningless way strangers do. Yet something lingered. A hesitation, a sense that the moment had weight, even if neither could explain why. They talked because silence felt wrong. At first, it was nothing important. Complaints about the weather, the absurdity of being late when you're already exhausted, the way time seems to speed up when you least want it to. But the conversation slipped effortlessly into deeper waters. It felt natural, as if they were continuing something already started long ago. When they finally parted, neither wanted to be the first to walk away. Maybe I'll see you again, she said, not intending it as an invitation. I hope so, he replied, meaning it far more than he should have. They did see each other again, and again. Soon the world reorganized itself around small shared moments. Coffee that lasted too long, walks taken without destination, laughter that arrived unexpectedly and stayed longer than planned. They learned each other in fragments, favorite songs, childhood fears, the scars you only mention when you trust someone not to treat them lightly. What frightened them was not how quickly affection grew, but how familiar it felt, as if they had found something they had been missing without knowing what it was. She noticed the way he listened, not waiting to speak, not pretending to care, really listening, as if her words mattered simply because they were hers. He noticed how she carried sadness with grace, how she smiled, even when something behind her eyes remained broken and unnamed. They never spoke about love, not at first. Love hovered in the space between them like breath held too long. The truth was inconvenient. She had a life already built, commitments, expectations, a future carefully planned by years of sensible decisions. Leaving it would mean destruction, not just for herself, but for people who trusted her. He, too, was anchored by responsibility, by promises made before he understood what they would cost. They both knew it, and yet they kept choosing each other in the small ways that felt harmless. One more conversation, one more walk, one more night talking until the sky began to lighten. They told themselves it wasn't dangerous. They were wrong. The night everything changed arrived quietly. They sat in his car, engine off, city lights blurred by the cold glass. The conversation drifted, slowed until silence filled the space. Not an awkward silence, a heavy one. There's something I need to say, she whispered. He didn't answer. He already knew. If I say it, she continued, voice trembling, nothing will ever be the same. He turned to her then, eyes dark and honest. It already isn't. The words broke something open. She didn't say I love you. She didn't need to. Her tears said it for her. He reached for her hand, not as a gesture of comfort, but as a confession. His grip was tight, almost desperate. I love you, he said softly, like a truth that hurt to release. The world did not collapse. That was the cruelest part. Nothing dramatic happened, no thunder, no sign from the universe. Just two people in love, sitting in a car, knowing that love alone would not save them. They kissed once, slowly, carefully, as if memorizing the moment. Then she pulled away. I can't, she said, tears streaming freely now. I want to. God, I want to. But I can't destroy everything, he nodded. He hated himself for understanding. After that, the distance began. Not sudden, not clean. They tried to remain what they were before, friends, companions, safe places. But love, once spoken, does not return to silence. It changes the shape of everything. Every message felt loaded. Every laugh felt fragile. Every goodbye felt like loss. They hurt each other without meaning to. He became quieter. She became careful. They both pretended it was fine. It wasn't. One evening, she didn't reply. Not for hours, then days. When she finally did, her message was short and unbearably kind. I think we need to stop. For both our sakes. He read it again and again. He didn't argue. Love does not always fight. Sometimes it lets go. Years passed. Life moved forward the way it always does, indifferent to unfinished stories. They married other people, built routines, learned how to smile in photographs. Outwardly, everything looked right. Inside, something remained unresolved. He would hear a song and feel his chest tighten, unable to explain why. She would smell his favorite coffee and feel tears threaten, sudden and unwelcome. They never spoke again, but they thought of each other more often than they admitted. Not with regret exactly, with a quiet, aching recognition. One autumn afternoon, years later, they crossed paths by chance. Older, changed, still familiar. They froze, caught between past and present. "How are you?" she asked. "Good," he replied. "You?" "Good." They both smiled. They did not speak of what they had been. They did not apologize. They did not confess lingering feelings. They talked about ordinary things, and that was the kindness. Before leaving, he hesitated. "I'm glad you're happy." She met his gaze, understanding everything he did not say. "So am I." They walked away in opposite directions. Neither looked back. Some loves are not meant to last. Not because they are weak, but because they are too strong for the lives that contain them. Their love did not become a story told at anniversaries or a name whispered in old age. It became something quieter, a reminder that once, in another version of life, they touched something rare and real. And even though it was not their fate, it was still love.